Smooth, rich, creamy, homemade mayonnaise. 5 bowls, 5 methods, same ingredients, same ratio. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one to reach for.
Hi, I'm Erin, and this is Cream and Cloves, where we teach the why behind the how. We just wrapped up our butter sauce formula, and if you are with me for the Beurre Blanc episode, you already know something about emulsions. Now we're starting a new series, and today we're going to be making mayonnaise, and we're doing it using 5 different methods. Mayonnaise looks complicated, but it's really built from just 4 parts: egg yolks, acid, oil, and seasoning. The egg yolk is the emulsifier. The acid brightens the flavor and helps balance the richness. The oil creates the body. And Dijon provides both stabilization and adds a subtle, savory tang. And if you're like me, you're going to want to add some salt too.
Butter sauces and beurre blancs are also emulsions, but they require motion and temperature. Mayonnaise works on the same principle, but it adds one ingredient that changes everything: an egg yolk. This is our new formula for the next several episodes, the egg emulsion formula. And the best part, once you understand it, you'll be able to make all types of variations.
I'm going to split this series into 2 families: cold emulsions, which we're starting today, and warm emulsions like hollandaise, which we'll cover a few episodes from now.
Mayonnaise, the foundation for everything in this cold block. So before we touch a whisk, let's talk about what's actually happening in that bowl. Egg yolk contains lecithin molecules. One end loves fat, and one end loves water. When you whisk oil into yolk slowly, lecithin grabs each droplet of oil and suspends it in the watery part of the yolk. That's an emulsion, 2 things that don't want to mix held together. The reason we add oil slowly at the start isn't tradition, it's chemistry. Lecithin can only wrap so many oil droplets at once. Add oil too fast and you overwhelm it before the emulsion has a chance to establish. This is what happens when it gets overwhelmed. It looks ruined, but it's not. I'll show you how to fix this in a few minutes.
All right, we've got the why. Now let's get into the how. 5 different ways, starting with the most classic, using a whisk.
Method 1, the whisk. Yolk a spoonful of Dijon mustard, which has its own emulsifiers, nice backup, and a splash of acid like vinegar or lemon to loosen before we add the oil. We start by blending these together. Now the oil goes in drop by drop at first. Watch the color. It lightens as the emulsion takes hold. Once it's noticeably thicker, you can start pouring a thin, steady stream. Notice how the sauce thickens as more oil is incorporated. This is what you're after. Glossy, holds its shape on the spoon. We can now finish with salt to taste.
That was the classic method. But let's see what happens when we use some motorized kitchen gadgets.
Method 2, the immersion blender. And this one breaks the rules we just spent 5 minutes on. We're going to add our egg yolk, mustard, vinegar to a narrow container that is just big enough for the blender. Something like a pickle jar works well because it's tall and narrow and will focus the immersion at the base. Plus, it serves double duty for storage. After a quick pulse to combine the base ingredients, we'll add the oil. Next, with the blender at the very bottom, hold it still and start pouring in your oil. You don't have to stream the oil in slowly. You'll see the emulsion start from right where the blade is. Once it's established, slowly draw the blender upwards. 10 to 15 seconds, and you're done. Dense, glossy, and nearly foolproof if you follow that bottom-up method.
Now, if you're making a batch, not just a spoonful, this next one's for you.
Method 3, the food processor. This time we're using 3 egg yolks, plus our acid and mustard. We need even more volume to reach the blades. If your food processor has a feeding tube, that is even better. It will help control the oil stream at this large scale. We start with a quick blend of our base ingredients, and then we start adding the oil. Once the emulsion is established, it's remarkably stable. But that early oil stream timing matters just as much as it did with the whisk. Rush it and you break a full batch at once. This is your batch cooking method, meal prep, a holiday gathering, or just stocking the fridge for the week.
Now for our quick round. 2 more tools in case one of these is what you have on your counter.
Only have a hand mixer? Same idea as the whisk, just powered. Works best once you've got more than a couple of yolks in the bowl. If it's a blender you have instead, same logic as the immersion blender. You just need enough volume in the jar to fully cover the blades at the bottom, or they'll spin without grabbing the mixture. There we are, 5 methods, 1 formula. Let's put them side by side one more time. All of these tools will get you there. A whisk is great if you want to learn the cues of the emulsion. An immersion blender for speed. Food processor when you need volume. Hand mixer or blender if, well, that's what you have in your kitchen. None of these is necessarily the right one. The right one matches what you're actually trying to do and what type of equipment you have.
All right, let's review these. Okay, our first one was the whisk, the classic method. It did make a nice and thick mayonnaise here. Quite tasty. That's good. By far the easiest, the immersion blender. Definitely a nice mayonnaise. I like the texture on there. It has a little bit more body. This one was great, the food processor for making a large batch, and I did get quite a bit out of it. Again, really creamy. This one came out really nice. The hand mixer, very similar to the whisk, but with some motor. I noticed this one's a little bit looser, but flavor's fine. Oh, actually it has a lot of almost airiness to it. And the blender. Now I do have to say, I found this one the most challenging one. You had to make sure that you had enough of the base to get it started. And it was difficult for me to see how the oil was incorporating just from the view. I do notice that it looks pretty good. It's not quite as smooth as the others. But it tastes like mayonnaise. All right, so that gives you 5 choices for you to decide which one's your favorite. I personally am leaning towards these 2. This one actually came out great. It just was a lot of arm work. I love the quickness of the immersion blender, but I do love how I can make quite a bit of mayonnaise using the food processor.
Now, the moment I promised. Let's fix this. I'm going to demonstrate fixing this non-emulsified, basically broken prior attempt using an immersion blender. Since it's the fastest, start over with 1 fresh yolk in a clean, tall container, and then pour your broken mixture into that new yolk. The fresh yolk has emulsifying power your broken batch has already used up. And there it is, rescued. No waste, no do-over from scratch.
If you enjoy understanding the how and why behind great sauces, then subscribe and join me as we continue mastering sauces at home. No culinary school required. Well, I guess I need to start making some potato salad or something. Until next time, bye now.